was in my 20s, what would I do, or what was life like? Because maybe he's listened to quite a few of my videos and knows that I was able to overcome a lot of adversity in my life and become financially successful to the point that I'm comfortable. I'm not rich by any means, as far as like what the TV definition of rich, like driving Ferraris and multi-million dollar homes and private jets. That's not me. I just, I have a nice, comfortable home that's not too big. I don't have like rooms that I don't use, and I don't hire a maid to clean my house or mow my yard. I'm just a normal, just a regular person that's just comfortable financially, where I don't have to struggle to know how I'm going to pay my bills. But I know what that feels like because I've had to do it. I lived more of my life poor and struggling for money than I have lived it comfortably like I am now. And in fact, I'm still trying to get used to not being so strict with my finances and trying to live a little bit more, because I'm going to be 50 years old next year. In like 9 months, I'll be 50 years old. So I'm going to try to change my counter real quick because I can't see, it's not properly set right now, so I'm going to fix it. Okay, I just fixed it. It's hard to make sure that, like, I need to make sure that my, it's always best to double check that your equipment's working before you keep going too far. But I thought about it a little bit, and I think the number one thing that I believe, like, people that are born into, that are not born into wealth, if your parents are poor, it's going to be very challenging for you to overcome that and not just repeat the cycle. Most people, they don't get too far from where their parents are. They might do a little better, but not much. But I think the number one thing is setting the proper expectation. And I think that's a big part of why we have so many problems in today's society, is because people don't have realistic expectations for life. And what I mean is that they obviously know life is challenging. Life is very hard, and they know that, and they feel it. But I think a lot of people just feel like it's their own personal pain, that they have it, and maybe people in their similar situation have it, but that other people don't have it. And I think that this is the number one problem that we face today in the world. We have failed to set the proper expectations for people, and the right expectation to have is that a life is going to be very, very, very difficult, and it's going to be extremely challenging to raise is like if, I kind of spoke about this in my last video about like all the different types of workers there are, and how many thousands and millions of different types of jobs there are, and we're all doing something different, and we're all getting paid something different, and it's just the way that our society is structured, and so basically, like for example, if you're starting at the very bottom and you're working at a convenience store or grocery store or gas station or fast food, those jobs can still be extremely productive and not necessarily financially rewarding, but they are stepping stones. Like for example, if you're working in a fast food restaurant, then you always try to have a good attitude and come to work on time. And if they, if somebody calls in sick, maybe you volunteer to help out. It will not take very long for you to become an assistant manager, because you'll be amongst people who don't come to work on time and who aren't diligent about what they do, or maybe they have a bad attitude, or they treat customers bad. It's easy for someone to shine when they're in the midst of people that aren't really highly excited about the job they have, and so you'll stand out and you'll work your way into management, and then being a manager at a fast food restaurant could lead into being a manager at a better, like a steakhouse or some sort of nice Italian restaurant, or you basically just keep improving your pay scale. The fast food managers don't make as much as the luxury restaurant managers, and it can lead into management for other things. It can lead into, if you're good at managing people, you're likely good at sales, and you could go take a job selling cell phones, and then you do the same thing there, and you work your way up to assistant manager, and then to the manager, and like managers at cell phone stores make really good money, and then maybe you jump from there and you go and you decide to sell boats or sell cars, or sell houses, or maybe something different. Maybe you enjoy working with your hands, and you want to be an electrician or maybe a plumber, and so you maybe take an apprenticeship course in school, or you take a job with a plumber as an assistant, and they slowly teach you how to do things, and you're again very courteous and disciplined by being there on time, and always willing to work extra and never complain. And then maybe you obviously you get your own truck, and then you're a lead plumber, and then maybe you want to manage a plumbing company, or maybe you want to open up your own plumbing company, and dreamed about was having enough money that I never had to work again, and that I could just live a modest life and, not bother people, and not, spend time with animals and in nature, going to parks, like stuff that doesn't cost very much money. I'm not high maintenance. I don't need a bunch of expensive crap. I really don't. I like to have what I have to be nice, but I don't need a bunch of it, and I don't have to wear like Gucci and brands like that are just, paying for the name. I don't have to drive a Lexus or a Mercedes or a BMW. I just have a Toyota, and I'm just fine with it. I like Toyotas. And so, but again, I believe that you have to set those realistic expectations, because look, the truth, it's the truth. Life is hard, and life is suffering. And if you are suffering, life typically pays you back for what you give. And if you're giving those good vibes, and you're being a good steward, and you're being a good employee, and you treat people with respect, and you dress appropriately, and you don't do really over the top bold statements, like putting big giant holes in your ears or nose, or tattooing your forehead. There's just a fine line between you are making yourself unmarketable for the future. And it's not because it's wrong to get tattoos, but there's just a level of appearance that is acceptable and professional, and companies just don't want to take the risks on extreme bold things that are just totally unnecessary. One, they're expensive to get, and two, it's like, if you're really trying to be that much different than everybody else, then you probably shouldn't be trying to do it the normal way, which is trying to get ahead through a good work ethic and being a good steward of your money and not wasting all of it. If you're out there doing that kind of stuff, and you're going to bars every night and think you can party and spend all your money at bars, and buying things on credit cards instead of just only what you can actually afford, if you're out doing that stuff, then you're really not serious about becoming successful. The truly successful people understand a theory called delayed gratification, in that they can feel the happiness as if it's already happened. Like, I worked so hard in my younger years, from the time I was 16 till the time I was 48. I worked as much as I could possibly work. It was my number. I was going to make sure that I did not fail, and if I did, I was going to die in the process of trying. And like everybody, even my own mom, was like, all work and no play. It's dangerous. You gotta stop working so much. And they would always say things like, well, what if you get hit by a car? And I'm like, well, if I get hit by a car, then yeah, I was dumb for saving money for the future and planning ahead and not enjoying the money while I was alive. But I knew in my mind that the odds were astronomically greater that I would survive rather than I would die in a car crash. Or I knew it could happen. It can happen tonight. It can happen tomorrow. It can't happen tonight because I'm going to bed after this. But it could happen. It can happen to anyone at any time. We're all susceptible. And everyone is going to die for sure. But to me, I look at it like this. It's like, if really, let's say your adult life doesn't start until you're 20, because before that, you've got your parents and school and all the madness that you're trying to get done. So let's say you have from 20 to 50. So you have from 20 to 50 to really try to get something done goals that you want out of life, do you want it to happen? And if you want it bad enough, then you better do whatever you can do to make sure you get it. And that's what I did. I didn't care what anybody said. I knew I was doing the right thing. Like everybody, I love my mom to death, but like when my mom would say, money doesn't make you happy, my response would be, how would you know? Because you've never had it. And she hasn't. She's been poor her whole life. And I'm not making fun of her, but it's just an example of how poor people stay poor because they have this mindset that keeps them poor. They never paid the price. They never made the sacrifices to get what they really wanted. And look, I could try to tell people like, oh, you should try to go to Hollywood and become an actor, or you should try to start taking singing lessons and become a singer, or you should really start focusing on your golf or your basketball game so you can become a professional. But the truth is, those are like lottery tickets. Yeah, sure, somebody always gets it. There's a winner on American Idol and all of that, but they're shots in the dark. And I know that, I don't need to talk to those people because they don't need motivation. Those people are self-motivated and they're going to do what they're going to do. I'm talking to the millions upon millions and even billions of people that we can't all have those jobs. So I'm talking to everybody else just like me that decided that, you know what, I'm never going to be a rock star. I'm never going to be a movie star. I'm not going to be, I'm 5'9", I'm not going to be in the NBA, and I don't want to, I don't like to play, I don't want to play football, and I just don't have those desires. They don't interest me. So I knew that I wasn't going to get that big ticket win, because that's the other way to succeed in our system is you can focus. Like if I had a kid, I would probably, when they were, as soon as they could walk, I would start them in some sort of sport like Tiger Woods' dad did him at like 3 or 4 years old. He was swinging a golf club. I would probably do something like that. Or like if I had a daughter, I would right away have her playing piano, or doing something that would help her build some sort of talent that might give her a way to find an easier way rather than suffering through the madness of these ridiculous jobs that the world has us do. But I don't really blame society, because if you look at just nature, think about when we were just cavemen, and imagine being outside right now in a cave or under a tree, and it's the middle of the night, and you have no electricity, and you have no plumbing, and all you have is like a bow and arrow or a slingshot, or maybe even just a spear. And if a bear or a wolf comes and tries to get you or your kids, or that is what we've endured. And if you look out in nature right now, there's a coyote trying to kill a rabbit, or a bear trying to kill a fish, or hawks coming down to kill mice. Nature is wicked. Nature is, it's scary. That is just the world that we are in. It's a beautiful planet, but it is very, very fierce, and we are just really another creature trying to survive on it. And so I think that you just have to expect that it's going to be hard. Know that you've got a very difficult challenge in front of you. Motivate yourself to say, I'm going to do it anyway, and then go to work every single day getting there. Do the right things with your money. I would invest in Bitcoin right now. I think it's the best. I know that it's very volatile. It goes up and down a lot, but in the long term, it is, I think, the safest investment. Any extra money you had, I would put in Bitcoin or Ethereum, one of the major crypto tokens, but I would not, I would spend as little as as necessary. I mean, you have to spend money to be a professional. You have to look presentable. You have to, take care of yourself and make sure your hair is nice and that you have presentable clothes, but they don't have to be luxury brands. And you don't have to drive a luxury car so long as you keep it clean inside and outside and you look, presentable and it runs correctly. It doesn't take much to really just be a diligent citizen in trying to work your way up. But everybody wants to believe it can happen overnight, and everybody wants everything right now. Nobody wants to wait for it in this society. Nobody wants to realize that they have to pay their dues, and that delayed gratification is what it takes. It's easy for me to say now because I'm here. I'm 50 almost, and I've made it. I've accomplished. That was my elbow. Sorry if you heard that. But I don't regret it. It was hard, and there were times I thought I'd never get here, but it just slowly but surely you are getting there, and sometimes it feels like you're not, but you just know that every single day you try to be better than the day before, and you know that if you're alive another day and you're working another day, that you are making progress, you are moving forward, you're not going backwards. And sometimes you will. Sometimes maybe you crashed your car and you have to pay your deductible, so that set you back a little bit. I mean, life is not perfect, and it's going to throw you curveballs all the time. But keep your head on straight. Expect the challenge. Expect to suffer, and then go out there and suffer. And if you suffer, you will get paid back. That's what I love about suffering. Even like when I work out now, I always like when it's getting hard. I'm like, oh my God, I'm suffering. But I'm just telling myself that's good that I'm suffering, because I know good things are happening if I am suffering. And that's, I think, my best advice I could give. Find beauty in the suffering, and then go suffer. And then you will get there. You will. And I think to take little breaks along the way and celebrate little victories. Now, don't go take a 10-day vacation or ridiculous things like that. I'm also convinced that society sells us this image that we have to, work only 40 hours a week. We have to only work 4 or 5 days a week, so we get 2 or 3 days off a week. We're supposed to take 2 or 3 week-long vacations a year, maybe 4 or 5. We're supposed to have maybe a lake house, or, all of these things that they're fine when you finally get the money and you can afford all that stuff. But if you're trying to do it while you're trying to build your empire, good luck. What's going to happen is you're going to live that halfway life all the way. So this is what I believe. You can choose to live that life like working 40 hours a week, working 5 days a week, or working 4 days a week, and then taking all those vacations. You can do that your whole life and never retire and work till you're dead. Or you can suffer through 20 or 30 years, however long it takes. Somewhere in between there is what it's going to take, and just get it over with. And that's what I chose to do. I wanted to get it over with. I didn't want to deal with it all the time, because I could never find anything that I really truly loved to do. Like they say, if you love what you do, it's not work. Well, I could never find what I love, and I could never really just figure out what I wanted to do. The only thing I had figured out is that I didn't want to work forever. I didn't want to work a job forever. I liked to be productive. I like to work around my house, and I'm making this video. This is truly work. It takes me time. I'm 26 minutes, almost 27 minutes into this video. It takes me a half hour to just